at 7 minutes, if I could just be notified, even chat would help. Would that be possible? Okay, great. Giving one speech in a day, meaning if we have a meeting for a week, in a week, if we have one meeting, giving one speech is what we can accomplish. If you had to see the entire path, you can complete your path by giving 15 speeches. That's what it calls for, right? I can give you the breakup. In our level 1, we have an icebreaker, we have the feedback speech, before the feedback, after the feedback, and one evaluation. And then you also follow with a research speech. So that makes it about actually 4, but we count it as 5 because we also give an evaluation. After that, every level has 3 speeches. One is your core objective, meaning a core speech, followed by an elective, which is 2 electives. So, if you can put yourself an aim to complete one full path, you can actually complete it in 15 weeks. But let's not be so crucial on us. 23 weeks is what I call it. Why 23? Whenever we prepare a speech, maybe we might need some time for research, putting together points. There are 2 different ways people kind of give a speech. There are one group of people who write their speech, of course, post-research. Excuse me. After writing, they rewrite it. They read it. They again rewrite it. They read it. Again rewrite it. They condense the speech for the required amount. And then they give the speech, see if it is all fitting in, and maybe another rehearsal sometime. So for this, they need time, because Toastmasters is an extra initiative. We're part of a club to develop our self-confidence. Of course, we have our other business, which is our work, maintaining family, juggling between all these things. One speech is good for a week. We also have to take roles, right? A club will just not be okay for you to continue to give speeches and run your marathon of speeches. But we have other roles. We need to take up other roles as well. There are 7 different roles. Just like in our meeting, we have our GE, TMOD, tag team, evaluation, all of this. So if you give all these priorities, make a list, mix certain roles, some speech, roles, and speech, 23 weeks, you will be able to complete your path. Now, why are we people failing? Why did I fail? Let me give you a small incident. I joined Toastmasters Club in 2018 May. Somehow, had I enrolled into Toastmasters Club 2 days before, I would have been part of our legacy, which is our legacy method of giving speeches. Likewise, I moved in as a path breaker. I started giving my speech in the path breakers only. That is a wonderful experience. Most often, I've thought, why could I not have joined 2 days before? I could have also had that fancy ACG and, there are so many more things like that. But trust me, everything happens for a good reason. Now today, being a path breaker in my club, 2018 is when I started. Until 2020, almost 2 years, I had given only 2 levels of speeches. I'm giving this gyan of 23 weeks to complete your path. But I gave 2 levels of speeches for 2 years. What was I really doing? Because I did not have my goal. I did not have a path. Yeah, I chose the pathway, but did I know what I'm supposed to do first and what am I supposed to do next? I wasn't sure. And I was a VP head of my club at that point of time. Corporate club, I'm sure some of you would know what it means. Most of the time, role takers don't turn up or there are last minute dropouts. To handle this, I had multiple hats. So I'd forgotten that I'm supposed to give my speeches as well. So to make this easy is why I went and did a research to understand where are we missing or where did I miss and how I can keep it up. Thanks to the pandemic. There are so many people cursing pandemic, especially 2020 March was difficult for most of us. And an opportunist take advantage of such situation. And that's exactly what I did. March, April, May, 3 months, 2020, I completed 3 levels and I was the first path breaker of my club. Now, well, I don't think that's an achievement, but I felt so because 2 years to complete 2 levels as against 3 months to complete 3 levels. Now, well, that was wonderful. Then I started racking my brain. I started making my attempts to understand why is that we could go ahead and ensure, how is that we can go ahead and ensure that we give all the speeches and also complete our path. I was searching on a Toastmasters website and realized there was a small format. It was just like a chart which says level 1, level 2, level 3 and role takers. It was a beautiful chart. And it was few dollars. And I for once was thinking, now pandemic time, if I place an order, will that reach me? Is it going to work? Then I said, okay, fine. Why not draw the chart all over again? And I drew it on my book. And that's when I realized if you manage it well, and if you give this commitment of 1 hour to your club every week, you will be able to complete your path in 23 weeks. Now that I was able to succeed, I want to ensure that I bring it to the table so I can speak to most of our Toastmasters and see how we can help each other, or how I could maybe suggest to you a few things which I did will help you go ahead and give all the speeches and also be a path breaker and also be a Triple Crown awardee. And that's what it was for me last term. I'm aiming at 2 Triple Crown this time. Hope it works. On that note, I'm going to open it for questions. I would urge, if you guys have any questions, I'll be able to help you understand how we could get further in this 23-day journey. And I also request all of you to come on video. It will be more interactive. Thank you. Okay. Any challenges? Padma, what are you blabbering? 23 weeks. Is that going to really work? I see Manjula smiling. Is there a question, Manjula, for me?
So where did you give the 3 speeches on the same day?
Oh, okay. So last year, this term, Arijit became my friend and he helped me with few club meetings. He also evaluated few of my speeches. Likewise, I speak to people and understand the meeting hours, what time their club needs, and ensure I make a table. I can show you a table which I've made today if you guys can see it. This is how I make a table. Now, all I've done is there are 4, is it 6? Yeah, it's 6 meetings. And then I write the day when the meeting starts, when the club conducts the meeting, and what is that I'm going to do, what are the timings? And then what speech am I going to give in that particular club? And then also my topic or a few things for me to remember which speech I'm really going to give. Because it gets confusing. Sometimes you mess it up. So I didn't want to do that. And it's not confusing while giving the speech. After giving the speech, I'm sure, we'll get so tired giving 3 speeches in a day. And then it's like we wouldn't do our background work, meaning go ahead and enroll, meaning go ahead and sign up our, okay, let me rephrase this. Before we give the speech, we go to Toastmasters Club and see what are the objectives. Then we give the speech. After we give the speech, we go and self-evaluate ourselves. Most of us don't do that on time. Even I was never used to do that. When I sat back to see which speech I gave, when was the day, I was getting too confused. That is when I came up with this format. So if you can organize yourself and place your speeches well, you will be able to crack this down. And the advantage for me is my speeches are impromptu. Most often, I only spend time to find an appropriate quote. Otherwise, there's not much which happens unless it is a research and present speech. So I take some time for the research speech, and I did take some time for the blog because I had to write the blog. I was supposed to write 8 blogs. So I timed it so well that I started giving the speeches by the time I'm in my level 4, which is compelling blog is one of the elective. So I managed it like this. So the best thing is, whenever we have a textbook or whenever we buy a book, what we do? We read the content first. Like that, if we go into our pathway and read what are the kind of speeches we're going to give, we're meant to be giving in our path, this question will be sorted. And that's how I was able to achieve Manjula. I don't know if I answered the question. If I don't, please ask me again.
Thank you. Thank
you. Okay. Okay.
So where do you get most of the ideas from? So if you want to give a speech, you should have an idea. Even if it is an impromptu speech, you should have some idea. So, so where do you get most of the ideas? Because giving three speeches per day, it's very hard to get ideas. To like on a particular thing, you should develop a story, even if it is impromptu. So where do you get the idea?
Padma, sorry to interrupt. I would like to add to this question. Mm-hmm. So, as a Toastmaster, what I believe is that we should offer variety in our speeches. So, adding to Bharat's question is that when you are giving or fast tracking your speeches, do you bring variety in your speeches? And if yes, can you give us examples of the same?
Absolutely. So, first piece of the question, where do I get the ideas? Networking. There are most of the time, our other club members are sitting back. Sometimes I've messaged people in the night at 2 o'clock, in 12 o'clock. You never know what time. And they will respond. Like that, I have an example. I don't know if you guys know, there's another AD. And one of the days, this was my level 2 speech. I was just not understanding. Before I started this roller coaster ride of speeding up, right? In the month of February, I was like, I'm supposed to give a level 2 speech and I absolutely don't know what to talk about. And it was leadership development path. When I spoke to him, the question he asked me is, what is your passion? I said, food. So it's like, okay, then talk about samosa, talk about biryani. I was like, I didn't know this angle to giving a speech. And I tried it. I'm sure I back the memory. I think the samosa speech was definitely one of the best speeches. And of course, the biryani one as well. So when we are a foodie, we know that, we would have researched and gone to different places to eat samosa or biryani. Put all of that together. That's a memory lane, right? Along with that, you can also go ahead and do some research about where did the samosa come from? Where did the biryani come from? Tie both together and add your personal story to it. That's done. 7 minutes it is. And to talk about Arijit's question. Now, is there variety? Yes. Let me give you an example. Today's 3 speeches, and this is my 4th. No, sorry, this is my 3rd today. The first speech was in a Tamil club. I gave a pure Tamil speech. It was an icebreaker. All I had to do is talk about myself, which I don't have to research. I know about myself. It was easy. I finished that. And the second speech which I gave is in a Kannada club. And luckily, I told them I may not be able to give the Kannada language speech this time, but I will be able to give an English speech. In that speech, I was talking about social media presence. Okay, I'm a YouTuber and social media is YouTube, right? all I talked in that speech is about how did I have this journey of creating my YouTube channel. That's what was the speech all about. So my journey, I don't have to do any research. So that speech has gone great, successful. And this one, now 23 it is, has been something which I've known so long. So talking about what I've achieved is definitely not difficult. Hence, if you tie your personal story, you should be able to get it all right. In fact, today I was supposed to choose level 5, and that speech is more about evaluation, meaning once you finish your, once you have an area contest or any such bigger meetings, send the evaluation form to participants or the role takers and have the feedback from them and discuss about the feedback. Now that's the feedback which was given was by Arijit. Now, if I had to choose this club to give that particular speech, it may not kind of work well. And I knew 15 to 20 minutes is a long time. I may not be able to get that time in the other club. So when I speak to our TMOD who contacts you to understand what is your speech and which level it is, so you just play a math and understand which will work. That's how I kind of choose my topic or choose the speech. And definitely there's a variety. Personal story is always there, but the difference, how you choose to put your story, makes a lot of difference in your journey. I hope it answered both your questions.
I have a question, Padma. This is Sneha here.
Hi, Sneha.
So, I've actually been in similar shoes like yours around 2018, because back then it was still the traditional way that we were following for Triple Crown, and there were so many more speeches to give. So because of that, I've done once where I did 3 in a row in the single day and so on. But what I've realized in the process of me running for Triple Crown and doing those speeches is, yes, I had variety, content, and preparing according to objectives. But the actual learning process for every speech, where we try to make the speech more impactful, because I'm also an impromptu person. I don't really like to write down my speech. I kind of felt that there is a lot of learning process that we do miss out when we are on this role. And what is your take on it?
I definitely agree. Last year, when I started this journey of giving the speeches, before last year, my aim when I give a speech is to be the best speaker. Now, I don't want to be a ISA contestant. That's not what I want to be. But when I give the speech, I want to be the best. That's everybody's attitude. But unfortunately, when I started giving speeches in a row, there was a situation where it did not go well. And I was not a best speaker. Sometimes I got feedback where, especially the biryani speech which I'd given, they told that the speech is not tying to the topic, meaning the speech title. These kind of situations we do face. Now, what's your goal? That's what is more important. Now, do you want to retune yourself and ensure you're perfect at everything? Or do you want to keep learning with the go? I take the second, the latter path, which is I want to learn by giving the speech. I do not want to be hesitant whilst trying to perfect my speech, or even if I don't write, I don't want to keep thinking about would it go right, would it not go right. And there are instances where I feel genuinely that the speech which I gave wasn't up to the quality, and then I've re-given the same speech. When I say it's the same level, repeated the speech again. It's not that the evaluator asked me to repeat. It's my own conscious which says that wasn't up to the mark. Go ahead and give it again. So if you can make that conscious effort of what is that you want to achieve, how is that you want to achieve, are you satisfied? If you answer these 3 questions, I think putting together for these 3 answers would answer your question. Sneha, hope it helped. If not, I can still talk more on it.
Yes, it did. And just to add to yours, another thing that I've seen that improves is your confidence levels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It improves your confidence level, and it also sets an example for your club members, right? Kagdaspura, I'm a founder member of Kagdaspura, and we were a new club, and I was the president, and I wasn't sure that there's something called as a dashboard in which we're supposed to get 10 DCP points for a very long time, up until March, April, I wasn't sure about how it works. When I started giving the speech is when I realized there's too much more, not just giving the speech, there's much more to it. And when I realized that, I ensured I pulled my club along with me. Until April, mid-April, we were at 2 DCP points. By the end of May, we were at 10 DCP points without any misses. A new club, just about 6 months old, getting 10 DCP points is definitely something great, I feel. So we can be an example for our clubs and tag them along with our journey. That's what I would add to. And thank you for this opportunity. So if somebody wants to give it a try, please check this option. This is something which you would be able to achieve as well. And if you need any help, I'm always there at the beck of a call. Back to the TMOD of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Padma. It's quite informative. I really didn't think you could do it in 23 weeks. Quite amazing. Thank you so much. So that's something we've all discovered today in our journey.